Hello, everyone. It's William here. How are you all doing today? I hope you're all having a great day. I see Anna is here. Says hello, AG family. Hello, AG fam out there. Thank you for joining me tonight. You're mostly going to get me. Andrew, I think, is going to hang out in the comments with us again tonight. He is downstairs dealing with his gout. He is feeling better, and we got him some things. My mom and aunt stopped in at the store today to come visit me, and they were kind enough to bring some goodies for Andrew. My mom and aunt use some of these different patches and things that we've talked about here on the show sometimes. One of them is called Kylo. We use those quite a bit. But there's also these other ones, and I don't actually know the name because I get them in little bags from them. But there are these little patches that are supposed to manipulate light, or I think it's like either UV light or red light. I don't know what it is, but they're supposed to help with pain and inflammation and all these things. And so we've patched Andrew up. So we'll see how they work out for him. He's been on cherry juice and lots of water today, trying to flush out his system and flush the uric acid from his system. The cats have been cuddling him good today. While I was away, I told them to make sure that they take care of him while I'm away. So they've been being pretty good for him today. So he's feeling a little bit better, but he always things always swell up and get worse at nighttime. And he's like, how does gout know that the sun's going down? Because he's starting to feel it now. But all in all, his spirits are up. He's doing better, and hopefully we'll get things taken care of so that he can be okay for class tomorrow, because he's teaching. And if not, then he will mostly do sitting in class tomorrow, and I will run around and help the students as much as I can for the class at Contemporary Craft. He's teaching mold making and resin casting tomorrow. So that's going to be exciting. We're excited for that. I just remembered, though, that I forgot to put a sign on our door at the store before I left. I was talking with my mom and aunt right up until closing time. They came in earlier in the day, and we were just chatting all day long. So it was good to see them. And it was really a bright spot in the day. I haven't seen my aunt in a while. She came up to Squonkapalooza. That's the last time I saw her, but it was so busy I really didn't get a chance to sit and chat. And today they brought lunch, and we sat around the table and just kind of hung out and talked, and that was a really nice day. Let's see who else is joining us. Mary Ann is here, Susan is here, Ann is here. Thank you all for joining us. You can probably hear my window is open, and there is a football game happening, it sounds like, down on the football field. So if you hear the announcer, that's what's going on. I don't know if you can hear that from where you are or not, but just in case you're like, what is that in the background? That's the announcer for the football game. And it says maybe a neighbor could put a sign on the door for the gallery. Possibly. We could probably ask our friends to do that, but I don't think it's a holiday weekend. I have a feeling it's not going to be incredibly busy. I'll make sure that I post on our Facebook page that we are away. And yeah, I think I posted about it earlier last week to kind of give people notice, but I will post about it again on our Facebook page, and that should be fine. We do have an announcement generally on all of our signs, our signs that tell people the hours, that if we are closed, to check our Facebook page for details. So I think that'll be fine. But yeah, we have, it was it was not quite a busy day in store, but because my mom and aunt were there, it was a good day in the store. We hung out and had a lot of fun talking and catching up, and just put a good spin to the day. Andrew was home recuperating and hanging out with the cats. And I think things have calmed down. Tallulah has, I think, not been chasing her brother. She made me a little bit crazy in the head last night. She was really attacking her brother a lot. I don't know why she's doing it, but Tallulah had to spend the night in the bathroom by herself. And I don't think she liked that. So she got let loose this morning when I got up. And she was a sweet little thing again. And so I think that hopefully let her know that this is unacceptable behavior, and hopefully she's feeling a little bit better. But yeah, she was being a little naughty child last night, and drove me a little bit bonkers. So, but I think she's been good all day. Andrew said she was pretty good today, so that's good. And that's really, I don't have much to report. I do have things to report, but I found out things today that I can't say anything yet. Can't actually say anything yet, so I can't talk about it. We found out some good news, but we can't talk about it yet, so just know that there's some good news out there for us. Andrew said she was bullying Gilbert so much today. She was doing it again, or yesterday? Yesterday, she was really doing it. I hope that wasn't today. But yeah, so hopefully she's been good today. She was good today, but Gilbert wasn't around much. Yeah, Gilbert, she had Gilbert pinned behind one of the bookcases. We have these bookcases in the dining room that we moved in from the store. When we closed down the store, we moved them into the dining room to hold some of our stuff for the laser and some other things there. And she had him pinned back behind. He had to run behind them to kind of get away from her. And so I scooped her up. She was hissing at me and growling at me, and she does not normally hiss and growl at all. Like, she's usually very sweet, and she just lets out these little breathy meows. But she was hissing and growling at me, and so she got put into the bathroom by herself last night. And she had to spend the night in solitary by herself. And her sisters kept coming upstairs to check on her, and I'd see her hands, and it like kills me to do that. But she came out this morning, and she was super sweet. So hopefully she's going to stay sweet, or we'll have to do it again tonight. And says Gilbert was super sweet last night and was checking in on me, making sure I was okay. Yeah, Gilbert's a sweet boy. He's a very sweet boy. He does sometimes chase Gertie, and I give the girls a little bit of leeway when they chase him around sometimes, because sometimes they're just sticking up for her or making sure that he realizes that they will stick up for her. But she has been going like full force on him, like to the fact that to the point he couldn't even come down off his perch, or she was attacking him. It was like she turned into a wild child. So we had to try and put a stop to that last night. Hello, Kimberly. Thanks for joining us. So Gilbert had a better night last night. He was able to roam a little bit free. We also don't want anybody afraid of using the litter boxes. That's the biggest thing, is that I feel like at one point Gilbert was trying to use the litter box and she came out and attacked him. I don't know if that was true or not, but it felt like I heard things start over in the corner where the litter box is. And I was like, this is not happening. We cannot have cats in the house afraid of using the litter box. So that's one of the reasons she really that's the main reason that she was not able to be out and about last night. But, sometimes that has to happen. Let's it's like children, right? Sometimes they have to spend the night by themselves. So split apart from their brothers and sisters. So we're at Friday. It's Friday, everybody. It's Friday night football, apparently, down at the stadium. Hello, Susie. Thanks for joining us, our neighbor over there. Sounds more like prison, LOL, says Andrew. Maybe. Solitary confinement, right? Yeah, she was in solitary a little bit last night. But hopefully that has shown her. I mean, what other way can you teach them, right? You can't talk to them. I tried to talk to them. I tried to talk to her. She got a talking to first, and that didn't work. So what else do you do, right? I yelled, I talked, I got loud, and I don't like to do that. And then that wasn't working. So she had to, spend the night by herself and think about what she did. Marianne says, my boys had a slight grumpy fit with each other this morning. Oh boy, that's no good. Aggressive cuddling, says Andrew. Yes, she might have to go into aggressive cuddling next with Andrew if she doesn't shape up. So yeah, it's Friday, everybody. How are y'all doing? It's a holiday weekend. I'm sure many of you maybe have Monday off. It's Labor Day weekend. It's crazy to think that it's Labor Day already. But the sun is starting to go down much earlier. Like already, it's still light out, but I don't know if you can see, it's still light out, but it's definitely where the sun is setting already. It's so strange. It's so strange. Where has summer gone? I'm not a huge fan of summer, but I am a fan of having light. Having light into the evenings. I love when the evenings are lighter. It gives me time to sometimes go out running. I barely went running at all this year. I was really trying to do a lot more exercise and do more running. That was like planned. I had hoped to do that this year, and I went out running once. And I have no idea where summer has gone. Marion says, especially when it's 91 outside. It is not. It is 63 degrees here right now. 63 degrees outside. Our summer was very quick, I feel like. Let's see here. Susan says, Mookie corners Rupa sometimes and it's not fun. She has chronic kidney disease and just freaks out when she sees him, and it does cause issues. Yeah, and that's one of those things, like I do not want that to start happening. There's a cat outside, and we're having some peeing issues because people are deciding to protect cats. Are deciding, I shouldn't say people, it's not like we're going around having peeing issues. Cats in this house are deciding that they are trying to secure the perimeter. Andrew had to do a little cleanup today, and that is not good. And especially when you have chronic kidney disease and issues, that is bad. They cannot be afraid to go to the bathroom, right? And so we don't want any of those kind of issues. And generally, everybody gets along pretty well. There's a chase here and there, or a playful romping here and there, but generally we get along really well in this house. And so I don't know what's happening. It's very unlike Tallulah, and so that's what I don't want this behavior to become a pattern. We definitely don't want that. So Andrew says it's never too late to what? Go running? It gets pretty dark here. It gets pretty dark on those streets. I have run at night though. I doubt that's what he was talking about though. But yeah, it is. I wanted to exercise more. and do more running this year. But the weather, it was very hot, and I didn't want to go running in such heat. But now it's suddenly like fall. Like it feels like fall is here, and it feels so weird. But it is only the end of August. So September, October, it doesn't really get usually cold until the end of October. Sometimes in Halloween, we'll have some snow and stuff that starts happening. So I have some time to maybe get some exercise in, maybe. Although it's because we do these lives in the evening, that's what makes it a little bit difficult. Because we do these lives in the evenings. When I do the afternoon lives, that's when it would be a little bit easier to go running. So I have to figure that out. I should go running in the morning. That's when I should do it. Before I normally get up. I should get up earlier than I normally do and go running. But that is a difficult request to make of myself. Time and time again have proven that is a difficult request to make of myself. So we'll see. Andrew says, I definitely need to make my health a priority. Yes, we both need to do that much more than we have been. And it is starting to show in the things that we do and the things that we feel. Marion says the sun sets at 9:57 here. I don't know when it technically sets here. I don't think my weather app here tells me that, what the sunset time is. Maybe it does. Let's find out. Sunset, 7:52 p.m. So, Marion, you get lots of sun. Our sun sets at 7:52, which is in 4 minutes. So that's what I said. The sun is setting right now. 4 minutes. I could tell. It's on that verge of transitioning into night right now. I could feel it in the air. It is 61 here now, and the temperature says it feels like 59. The wind is making it feel colder. Humidity is 58%, which is lovely, pretty nice outside. Pretty clear. It's a nice day. It's been a really good day. It's been a really nice day today. I had the door at the store open all day. It was really nice just to have the door open, and my mom and aunt and I were chatting, and a few people popped in. We had some kids pop in and out. Anytime the door is open, the kids in the neighborhood feel like it's more of an invite to come in and look through the beads. I'll say look through the beads. They often they often come in and let's just say they like to go through the trays really well sometimes. So I had some cleanup to do, but it's cute when the kids come in and ask about the beads and things. So that was cute to see. And we had some new people stop in today. A couple came in. They were down the street, I think, at the ceramic shop, and they decided to pop in and see what we were all about. So they came in and looked around, and that was nice. So it's nice to see people come in a little bit here and there. Susan has just joined us. Hello, Susan. Andrew said, I wish we had a screen door at the store. I know, that would be nice, right? That'd be a little bit nicer to have that. We should get, I know the Jadas, they have one of those screens that hang and it's magnetic. And maybe, I think we should maybe get one of those for the store. They're a little bit weird to enter into because you have to kind of pull them apart, but it would help keep bugs and things out during the nicer outside season, because it's either that or if I have the door closed, I have to run the air conditioner, and I don't like running the air conditioner unless we have to keep fresh air coming through. And it's just nice to have the door open, and it's more welcoming to have the door open. I've always thought that. But anyway, so today I wasn't sure. I was going to do a live from the store. I was thinking about staying at the store and doing a live from there tonight, but I also didn't want to. I wanted to come home and check on Andrew for one, and I didn't really want to stay up there that late all night, because there are right now a lot of deer out, and they're having babies. There's a lot of little fawns running around with their mothers right now, and so, sorry, and so driving home, I come down a pretty big mountain. And it's a little bit dangerous at night sometimes. So I brought trays from the store, and there's some trays of things. I have some glass beads, I have some vintage plastic, and I brought a lot of check glass. So I figured that would be a nice thing to kind of end the week on, and it's some stuff that we haven't shown for quite some time, some of it probably at all. So I figured this might be nice, and I figured maybe we'll do a little discount on some of it since it's a holiday weekend. Maybe we'll do a little holiday discount deal. I really haven't talked with Andrew about doing any type of sale in the online store. I don't think we really wanted to do that because we're going to be loading up the online store with some of our new Halloween kits and stuff at some point this weekend. So I don't think we're going to do a Labor Day sale. I don't know. We didn't really plan on it, but I figured in lieu of that, we will maybe do maybe like 15% or something like that on lots tonight, off of the store price. And so that'll give you all that, our core group of people out there who watch us all the time. That'll give you kind of a little bit of a discount, and kind of give you all a bonus that we're not offering anywhere else. So hopefully that'll be good. Andrew says we also have to pack for the class tomorrow. Oh yeah, I forgot we have to do that. That's true. We do have to do that, right? So yeah, we'll be going up to the cottage tonight, unless that stuff's here. Is that stuff here, or is it at the cottage? Some of the resin and stuff we keep here at the house, so that in case anything happens at the cottage, temperature-wise, we keep the house definitely more climatized. Is that a word? Is that the right usage of that word? Then sometimes the cottage can be, if we're not there, sometimes the cottage gets really chilly or gets really warm, depending on what the outside weather is, and how we can keep it, temperate or not. Let's see here. Susan says, we're going to the Japanese festival at the Missouri Botanical Gardens this weekend. It's a Labor Day weekend tradition here. Nice. That's awesome. I think I remember you talking about that last year, the Japanese festival there. So that's good. That should be a fun time. Andrew says, we can do a Labor Day sale. I'm behind anyway on making Halloween stuff. Okay, then maybe we will. Maybe we'll run a sale in the online store. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. If we're going to do that, might be good. It might be good. But we are, there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know how I missed that. I'm looking over at the, oh yeah. Andrew says we might want to contact the ceramic shop, and folks can make a ceramic pendant there and then come in with us and make some jewelry. That'd be nice. Let's see if they can do something like that, maybe. Sue says, yes, we go annually. The Hubs helps out with, it helps out in the morning at a food booth. Nice. What kind of food? I'm hungry right now. I had lunch. My mom and aunt brought salads, which was really nice. And then they each brought some tomatoes from their gardens and peppers. And my aunt also brought us some corn. So we've got tomatoes and peppers and corn in the kitchen right now that they brought in for us. So that was really nice. So that's a little something that we can maybe add to our dinner tonight. Andrew made, so we didn't have soup and salad last night like I thought we were going to. Andrew mentioned he made some other things. So Andrew used the tomato basil soup base as a base for like some kind of a stir fry. It wasn't quite a stir fry, it's like more like a curry. I don't know quite what to call it, but he made that last night and we put it over rice and it was really good. And we have leftover of that, but I think also the corn, it's corn on the cob, sweet corn. So the corn sounds really good. So I might microwave the corn. If you've never microwaved corn on the cob, it is a great way to cook corn on the cob. I've talked about this before. You leave the why can't I think of it? You leave the leaves on. It's not called leaves. They're called something else. But you leave them all on, the husks. That's the word. You leave the husks on and you put them in the microwave. And you microwave them for like 6 to 10 minutes in the husks, depending on how many ears you're putting in there. And when you take them out, you let them in there for, of course, you can get burned if you take them out too quickly. And you take them out, and when you peel them, the husks and the silk come right off. Like, no problem. Super easy. It's the easiest I've ever cleaned corn, because we used to peel corn first. So we used to clean the corn, peel the corn, take the silk out, take the husks off, and then we used to boil the corn. And this, you just take the whole thing and you throw it in the microwave. You just throw it in the microwave for 6 to 10 minutes. And then when you take it out and you peel it, because the husks keep the moisture in, and it kind of, does its thing, and it is so good. And when you peel it, I hold it in a dish towel. So I take a dish towel and then I hold it and then I peel it with the dish towel, and it comes out nice and juicy and super good. Yeah, it's so good. Let's see here. Goody, goody, a veggie top-up, says Marianne, right? Kimberly says, leave the husk and take the silk out. Says, I take the silk out so that I don't microwave a worm. I'll check them real quick, but if you microwave a worm, it's going to happen. They're in there. And then they come off too. Usually the worms aren't like down in. They're usually just right there. If it happens, it happens. Sorry, worm. Then they're cooked. Same thing that would have happened, they're cooked. But yeah, then I clean them off. If I see that gets cut off, that cob would go in the trash. I just cut it off. It's the same thing that we would have done if we see a worm on a cob whenever we were peeling them. You just cut the bad part off, and then you boil the cob anyway. There was very little waste that way in our family. Hello, Suzanne. Thank you for joining us. Marion says, I meant to buy a cob of corn yesterday, but oops, I forgot. Oh, no. Japanese vegetarian, says Susan. My favorites are gomoku meshi, a rice dish, and inari sushi, tofu packets, stuffed with sushi rice, plus soft serve green tea ice cream. Ooh, that sounds good. Kim says, I can do that when it's raw, but not after cooking. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Diane says, micro works if you're doing a couple of ears. Doing for a family, not so good. I'll do about up to 6 ears at a time. I've done 6 ears at a time. And yeah, that takes about 10 to 15 minutes to do probably 6 ears properly. So yes, if you were doing, like we used to do it for our family of 6 to 8, and everybody would have like 6 to 8 ears at least of corn. So when you're doing that much, yeah, you got to get out the big deep pot for the boiling, right? At least that's what we used to do. I'm sure there are other ways of doing it, but we used to get out the really deep pots and boil the corn. And we'd come out with them in large bowls full of corn. But for us, for Andrew and me, it's good. It's good. And you can do a half dozen or a dozen ears in the time it takes to heat up the rest of the dinner, usually. Hello, Amanda. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us, Diane, by the way. Marianne says, now I want Japanese, but not necessarily vegetarian style. Kimberly says, I am the only one in my house that will eat it, and I have to be in the mood because I'm not a fan of corn in general. Really? I love corn. I grew up, like I said, my grandfather did corn all the time. He had some of the best corn I've ever had. And so we always had really good corn in the summer and fall. And I still, to this day, love corn on the cob. Andrew says, Ida Bell loves the corn. She does. She loves the corn. She will still, like I was eating corn the one day, and she came up and grabbed an ear off of my plate and ran with it. She loves the corn. And Barnaby loves to steal the corn husks out of the garbage because he loves gnawing on the husks. Apparently corn is fine and husks are fine for cats as long as they don't go crazy eating too many of them. So we let them do it. I just let them grab the corn or grab the husks and let them go at it. They eventually, they don't eat a ton. I think they just love the smell or the taste, and they like gnawing on the cobs. Marion says, I liked canned corn in soups. Canned corn is okay. It's okay. I never grew up on canned corn. I always had, my mom always did frozen corn. So I rarely ever had canned corn growing up, so it's not something I'm used to. Now my grandparents, on my dad's side, they would sometimes have canned cream corn, and I haven't had that as an adult in a long time, but I did like that. I don't know if I would still like that, but as a kid, it was always it felt like a treat because it was so different, because we never had that. My mom generally always tried to cook with frozen veggies because I don't think she liked the canned taste of a lot of them. So anytime we had veggies as a kid, they were always frozen veggies. Kieran says, I just don't like sweet foods unless they are desserts. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, that's your prerogative, but I mostly like sweet things that aren't necessarily desserts, like fruits, and I guess fruit could be a dessert, but yeah, I don't know. Growing up, I was never, a huge dessert person. I would have fruit, and I kind of, I kind of like desserts, but I have to be really in the mood for anything like a chocolate cake or Andrew is a sweets person. He likes all that stuff. And when we have it, of course, I'm going to eat it, but it's not something I pick out on my own. I think we've talked about this. I know we've talked about this before. I generally will go for like potato chips and fruit and stuff like that before I'll get sweets and cookies and cakes. Um, but Andrew likes the sweets, so sometimes we have those too. Susan says, I love corn on the cob, but it doesn't always love me back. It's my aging gastro issues. Yeah, I always worry about things like that because I do definitely love it. I do notice that, um, um, well, we won't talk about too much of that, but I do notice that sometimes it's a little harder on the system these days than it used to be. But I can still eat it, and I'm going to keep telling myself I can still eat it because I do love it. And I'm going to keep saying that I'm going to be fine eating it, and we'll just hope that that happens. Marion says cream corn is tasty. I think so. Well, I thought so as a kid. Like I said, I have not had cream corn in a long time. In a long time now. Susan says, I'm a dessert person. I think we've talked about that. I know. Andrew is too. Karen says, I'm totally weird if I think it should be savory and then I bite into something sweet. I'm just not into it. That's funny. Yeah, we all have our things, right? We all definitely have our things. I am, there are certain things that I'm very weird about too. Texture is a thing for me. It's the reason I don't eat avocados. Andrew says, corn pudding, yum. Corn pudding is good. That is good. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Thanks for joining us. Diane says, I have a recipe for cream cheese corn. I have never heard of that in my life. I think you might have to send me that, Diane. Cream cheese corn. That sounds delicious. I've never had that. I didn't even know that was a thing until now, and it might be a thing I need in my life. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just checking to see if I missed anybody. If I missed you coming in, sorry. I'm trying to say hi to everybody. But we're talking food, so of course I get excited about that. Marion says, textures are a thing for me, no mushy foods. Yeah. I don't have a hard time. I don't have a bad time with mushy necessarily, except mushy when it doesn't look like it should be mushy. That's my problem. Like that's my thing. Mushy when it doesn't look like it should be mushy, like an avocado. That's mushy, and it cuts like a non-mushy thing, but then it's mushy. It's weird. And I keep saying this, I really just need to try one again and just try and get over that. Right? But we'll see. Diane says, it is so rich. I bet it is. It sounds like it. Suzanne says, I like a baked potato, soft on the inside and crisp on the outside. That's the best. That's hard to do, though. I feel like that's hard to do. Well, I guess it is kind of because I don't actually bake my baked potatoes. So it may not be that hard to do if you actually bake them. But I always make baked potatoes in the microwave or in the air fryer. And even in the air fryer, I can get them. The other way I like them is when they're a little bit chewy on the outside, like the skin almost gets chewy, and I like that. So that's easy to do, but getting them crisp, not easy. Suzanne says, it is time consuming. I think so. And I don't usually take the time because I just want to get into that potato. Andrew says, Diane, that sounds good. I know, right? It sounds really good. So that's what's going on here. Marion says, fire roasted potatoes. Fire roasted, good stuff. Susan says, Suzanne, I like baked potatoes like that too. They have to be cooked in the oven though. Yeah, they really do. To get like that, right? Usually in aluminum foil. Susie says, I have a recipe for cheesy corn and bacon done in a crock pot. Can't wait to try it. Ooh, that sounds good too. We don't have bacon. We don't eat the bacon anymore, but things in a crock pot. I love crock pot meals. I think they are so good most of the time. Like, sometimes I feel like it gets a bad rap, the crock pot, because I don't know. I don't know why, because I love most crock pot meals. Andrew said, I love smashed potatoes with chimichurri sauce. We never make them, though. No, we do not. We do not. Suzanne says, yep, 1 hour in the oven. No aluminum foil. No aluminum foil. Never heard of such a thing. Andrew says, best baked potato was when I was a kid and we burnt down the plastic playhouse. I don't know if Andrew's ever told that story. Have you told that story on the air? Andrew and his friend were making some baked potatoes in their plastic playhouse. And they burnt down the plastic playhouse. Their dad was not happy with them. But apparently those were some darn good potatoes. Oh boy, the things kids do, right? Things kids do. Brooke says, I don't plan enough ahead for the crock pot, so I use a pressure cooker. Pressure cooker is good too. I'm a little afraid of the pressure cooker. We have an Instant Pot, which is a little bit less scary, but we also have a pressure cooker that we don't use very often. But I've always heard horror stories about pressure cookers and them blowing up. So I have this weird fear. I don't know if it's a weird fear because it's a legitimate fear. And I think a lot of people actually have it, of the pressure cooker. I had a pressure cooker for many years. My boss, who was my, at the French boutique, bought me for a gift for my birthday one year, a pressure cooker. Maybe it was Christmas, something. And I did not use it for years until I met Andrew, and then he started using it because I had this weird fear that the pressure cooker was going to blow up and it was going to blow my face off, and it was a dangerous thing. And so, of course, I never told my boss that. Of course, it was like, oh yeah, I use it all the time. Didn't use it until Andrew was bold enough to get it out and use it. Andrew says, we don't use the Instant Pot as much as we should. No, we do not. No, we do not. Let's see. Andrew says, it was me and my friend Jenny, the best potatoes. That's funny. Mary says, no foil for me if I cook the potatoes in the oven. I've never heard of people cooking them without foil. That's just not a thing. For no foil here either, says Susan. Wash, punch holes with a fork, put in the oven 400, roughly an hour. Wow. I've always seen it and heard it done with foil to get it crunchier. I mean, not closed up foil, but like reflective foil. If you close it, I know it'll pack in the water and it'll keep them from getting crunchy. Although some people do that too and then open them. But I've always heard it open for reflection to get it crunchy. Brooke says, I prefer Instant Pot style ones. Let it handle most of the thinking for me. Yeah. Newer pressure cookers rarely blow up. I don't know how. I mean, mine was new when it was new, but it was not It was kind of old school type. So I don't know. I was always afraid of it. We also don't use our juicer or the air fryer as much. No, I use the air fryer. I try and use the air fryer a good bit for the things that we can do. Like I make potatoes in it all the time. Anytime we make potatoes, I pretty much use the air fryer. I use it to make some toast. I use it to make the chicken anytime we make chicken, fake chicken, because we don't eat chicken. But anytime we do meat things like that, I've been using the air fryer. So it is, of the devices we have, it is probably the most used one, other than the microwave. But I try to use it more to keep the oven from being used as much. Oh. Let's see here. Andrew says, okay, so regular mashed potatoes or German style? What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Anne says, I have to cook potatoes in the oven. Microwave makes them mealy. Put a little oil, salt and pepper, and peel on the peel because I eat that too. Yeah, I don't... I've never noticed them being mealy in the microwave. And I poke holes in them, and then I put oil and salt and pepper, and usually onion powder, garlic powder, cayenne sometimes, all over, and then put them in the microwave. And I don't know, but I like them, like I said, I like when the skin and the very first layer of potato and the skin kind of form together and they get a little bit chewy. I wouldn't call that mealy, but chewy, and I like that. Andrew says the baby potatoes in the air fryer are good. Yes, they are. Andrew says, what do people prefer? Regular mashed potatoes or German style? What's German style? What's the difference? What do y'all like? Do you know what the difference is? What's the difference? I've heard of, like, what is it, German style potato salad? That's like with mustard and stuff too, right? Mustard and pickles and potato salad. Do y'all like pickles and potato salad? I don't know. I'm getting into a totally different thing than what Andrew's asking for. German style is done in a ricer. I don't know if I've ever had that in my life. German style in a ricer? Suzanne says regular mashed potatoes. Yeah. Hi, Brooke, by the way. I don't think I said hi. You joined in. I don't think I said hi. Suzanne says, I don't like any kind of potato salad. What? I don't know. Potato salad, kind of one of the best things ever. I love potato salad. Susan hates pickles. Oh no, another best food ever. Andrew said the German style are kind of lumpy. I don't know. I kind of like a lumpy mashed potato. So if that's German style, then I'm gonna have to say I like that. I do like smooth mashed potatoes too, but I like when there's a little bit of lumpy texture in the mashed potatoes. Like if somebody's like, oh, I didn't mash these well enough, I'm like, that's fine. Don't worry. I like when there's a little lump or so here and there in my mashed potatoes. Mustard is required in potato salad for me, says Marianne. I like it either way. I have to say I like potato salad with or without. Doesn't matter. I can take it either way. Brooke says, I like the chunky kind with bits of skin and lumps of potato. Me too. I do like that too. Marianne likes garlic mashed potatoes. Of course there's garlic in it, right? Has to be garlic in the mashed potatoes. Susan says, not a potato salad fan either. My husband loves it. I love potato salad. I sometimes buy, I don't know if y'all have this, but there's a brand called Grandma's potato salad. Our grocery store sells it, but they also sell their own variety of it. I will buy, it comes in containers, like small ones and big ones. And I will sometimes just buy it and just eat that right out of the container. I love potato salad. Suzanne also does not like deviled eggs. What is happening? I love deviled eggs too. I will sometimes just make a big batch of deviled eggs. I haven't made them in a while, but I love deviled eggs. Deviled eggs are one of the first things I think that my grandmother taught me how to make. We would make deviled eggs together, and so that's a good memory. But also, it's just a food that I think that's why she showed me how to make it, because it was a food that I loved so much. So when I was a kid, she showed me how to make deviled eggs. Susan likes whipped potatoes. Whipped potatoes, those are good too. But I do kind of like when there's chunks in there and like the little skin pieces. Brooke says, I like mustard potato salad and the kind with bacon. I once had a type with raisins in it, and I didn't like that at all. I don't think that raisins should... Let me think about this. Raisins in potato salad. I'm trying to think if I've had that. I've had raisins. Maybe I have had raisins in potato salad. Because I was going to say it was probably either macaroni salad, but that wouldn't make sense. So it was probably potato salad. I don't know if maybe golden raisins. Maybe golden raisins in potato salad. I don't know about regular raisins. Maybe golden ones. I can maybe get on board with that. Let's see here. Andrew says, I love deviled eggs. Me too. Marion says, raisins in potato salad. Too weird for me. My family begs me to make deviled eggs for every gathering. I'm over it. That must mean they're good, though. You must make a good deviled egg. I don't think I could ever have enough deviled eggs. Susan says, I hate deviled eggs too, both the texture and the smell. What is happening? You and Suzanne got the same food taste, and I didn't know this about you two, that you hate these things. I don't know how that's possible. The grocery store deli near me has good potato salad, says Brooke. It makes a good side at almost any meal. Sometimes I eat it for breakfast. I could eat potato salad for sure for breakfast. I have at times. I have had it for a late night snack. I have had potato salad for dessert. I've had it for breakfast. It's good any time of the day as far as I'm concerned. One of my new favorites, Andrew said, is soy eggs. Diane says, I can't make deviled eggs. I eat them as fast as I make them. I know. You have to resist the eating while you're making them, or you have nothing to show for what you've done. I have that problem when I make them too. Anne says, deviled eggs are the best. I agree. So good. Andrew says, Diane, same. Brooke says, in my family, deviled eggs are one of the essential Thanksgiving foods. Oh, yes. Deviled eggs should come out at every holiday dinner. Always. There's no excuse not to have them. You have to have them. For those of you that hate them, I'm sorry. But we have deviled eggs at every holiday, pretty much. Andrew says, raisins and potato salad isn't my favorite. Yeah, I don't know. I can see how they could go if you have a sweeter potato salad. I could see it working, but like I said, I think it would have to be golden raisins for me. The little bit sweeter golden raisins. And then I think I would be okay with it. I think I've actually had it before and enjoyed it. So I'm gonna say that's a possibility for me. Marion says, I've had raisins in carrot salad. I have not had raisins in carrot salad because I have never had anything called a carrot salad. So I don't know what carrot salad is, Marianne. You might have to explain that one. Does anybody else know what a carrot salad is? I've never had carrot salad. Raisins and chicken salad is okay. Maybe that's what it is. Kimberly, I think you're right. Because I forget that I've actually had chicken salad before. That's what raisins were in. You're right. Chicken salad. Yes. Chicken salad, I've had raisins because I used to eat chicken salad. Potato salad can't be sweet for me. I could have sweet potato salad, so I could have raisins in that. That could be okay. That would be like chicken salad. I'd be all right. I think I'd be fine with that. Let's see here. Anne says, Brooke, that's a good idea. I'm assigning myself deviled eggs for this Thanksgiving. Last year I was assigned Brussels sprouts. They turned out terrible. Oh no. Brussels sprouts are one of those things that they seem like they should be easy, but they can go very wrong very easily, right? Brussels sprouts are not, I think, an easy thing to make. They seem like they should be, but like you want the right texture, you want the right taste. I mean, they're like little cabbages, so they can go wrong pretty easily. I'm lucky because Andrew knows how to do them really, really well. So when we have them, they are good. Kimberly says, I will snack on the eggs that don't peel, right? Yeah, you got to. Anna says, we always had deviled eggs. Yes. Andrew says, I will eat it, but I wouldn't pick it with the raisins. I see that. Anna says, my mom loved carrot salad. I've never heard of carrot salad. What is this thing called carrot salad? Andrew says, I like fresh grapes with chicken salad. That's a good thing too. Fresh grapes in the chicken salad. I agree with that. Raisins and broccoli salad are good too. I feel like I've had broccoli salad before, but that's like maybe like once in my life. That's like pulling from my memory. And I don't know, is broccoli salad a thing that if you say I've had broccoli salad, like that's just generationally and all around the country the same thing? I don't know. Like you say you had potato salad. There are variations on potato salad, but you kind of have an idea of what you mean when you say potato salad. Broccoli salad? Is that something that's widespread enough that everybody's is going to be similar? Diane says, carrot salad is finely grated carrots, add raisin, and use mayo or Miracle Whip. That's it? I guess that's kind of all potato salad. It really is, too, with potatoes instead of carrots. But I don't know. I feel like there should be more than that. Suzanne, one time Anne Rice had a Lestat party and handmade deviled eggs. They were terrible. All the trash cans were full of deviled eggs. Either one bite take. Oh my goodness. That's not good. Marion says grated carrots in a vinaigrette with raisins. See, now that's already different. Typically, it's carrots, apples, raisins, and a creamy dressing. The carrots and apples should be very thinly sliced. See, different again. See, it is. That's one of those things too. Everybody's different. Vicky says Brussels sprouts are meant for the air fryer. That's one thing we've actually not put in our air fryer yet is Brussels sprouts. Marianne says, okay, and sometimes apples and nuts. Even more things. Andrew says, Suzanne, I wonder why they weren't good. Brooke says, you have to roast Brussels sprouts until they get a bit of char. Add garlic, and if you eat it, bacon. Yes, you want them nice and roasted Brussels sprouts. Susan's getting a couple of dark chocolates and making you hungry, right? I'm getting hungry too. Andrew says, I like raisins and kale salad. Now we're starting a whole other salad, kale salad. Suzanne says, don't know, but no one took a second bite. It was the talk of the party and not in a good way. Oh my goodness. They sell broccoli salad at the store? What? I've never heard of broccoli. I've never seen broccoli salad. Brooks says a vinaigrette-based carrot salad does sound nice. I prefer the cranberry or grape chicken salad. Yeah, I used to like chicken salad a lot. Broccoli salad is pretty similar everywhere I've been. Huh. And says Suzanne, I bet she was bummed no one liked her eggs. Yeah, it's never good when you go somewhere and no one likes what you made, right? Biggie says no, balsa wood, balsamic reduction drizzle. Oh, I love a balsamic reduction. So good. Suzanne says she was furious and ended the party early. Oh my goodness. I might be furious too, though, if that happened. I would probably be more embarrassed, actually. And maybe the embarrassment would turn to fury, which sometimes happens, right? You get so embarrassed that you just get angry about it. There's also a carrot salad with Jello. That I've heard of, the Jello salads with the carrots in them. I think my grandmother, I don't know if my grandmother used to make that one. My grandmother used to put fruit in Jello, though. And I wish I liked Jello, but that is a total texture issue for me. Now that I'm older, maybe it would be okay. But then now, it's made of gelatin, so that's not something we generally eat. Andrew says, Suzanne, I feel her, LOL. Right? I probably would too. Kimberly says, love a kale salad. Yep, in the deli. Not a fan of broccoli or kale salad, says Brooke. Those vegetables are best cooked. I will, broccoli I can eat fine uncooked. I will say I do prefer it cooked generally, but I do love a good broccoli with a dip. That's okay. Kale, however, yes, I think kale is better cooked or actually like toasted or fried, like air fried or toasted. I used to put some oil and some salt on the kale and put it in the oven or the toaster oven and crisp it up, and it makes a good chip, right? That's how I like my kale. Marion says I would use broccoli slaw on a salad. Yeah, that would be good. Broccoli slaw. Andrew says, did you know that today's Brussels sprouts are different than older varieties? They've been bred to make them less pungent. Huh. Did not know that. I love balsamic reduction too, says Susan. Ick Jello salad, says Marianne. Right. They used to serve it at Mountain Palace. Oh, they did, didn't they? I forgot about that. That was a really good place. I miss their dumplings so much. Susan says, my dad used to put fruit in Jello, probably a generational thing. Definitely. Brooks says, the infamous Jello salads. My school would occasionally serve canned fruit in Jello as lunch dessert. And everything about that texture is a big no for me. Yeah, Jello's a texture thing. That's not easy for me. When I was in college and all those fun times and people would do Jello shots, I had to choke down the Jello shot because of course you're not gonna not do it, right? But the texture for me was just like. That was just like take it and just swallow. Like that was not, and I know that's pretty much what you do with the Jello shot anyway. But just like fishing it, you had to fish it out with your tongue. It was just a. And if I was already, feeling the night, I would generally try to pass up the Jello shots because they were very hard for me to take. That was hard. Marion says that is a good thing about Brussels sprouts. Plus, they need a slight Slight frost before harvest. Didn't know that. Andrew says, we went to a botanical society and the members were generally older, so they would have a Jello salad table. You never knew if they were sweet or savory. It's true. It's true. It happened. You never knew what you were going to get. Andrew says, I love a fancy Jello shot. Yeah, it was hard. There's hard texture for me. My mother used to make a Jello salad with cottage cheese. I couldn't even look at it, says Vicky. I can't even imagine the texture. I do love cottage cheese. I don't generally have a texture issue with that, but if you combine that with Jello, that could be way too much for me. But I love cottage cheese and pineapple. I eat that together. My mom and aunt introduced me to that, and it's just cottage cheese with pineapple, and it's so good. Yeah, combine Jello in there. No. Brooks says, I can tolerate Jello on its own, but I did cultivate a fondness for craft beers to avoid those sorts of shots, right? Dry cottage in Jello might be okay, says Marianne. I don't know. We had a book club where we served pink stuff from the Beekman Boys. I laughed and laughed. There's some interesting pictures from that night. Yeah, that was interesting. Oh, my screen just jumped. Sorry. He says, my dad also used to serve Jello with cottage cheese. Again, that was a generational thing. I've never heard of that one. Susie says, my mom made Jello and cottage cheese too. It was mint green and I loved it. I've never heard of that one together. Kimberly says, I will put Jello in Greek yogurt. So good to snack on. Jello in Greek yogurt? What? Never heard of that. I'll have to take your word on that because I'm not going to be doing that, I think. No Jello for me, generally. But this has been fun. Let me go ahead. I'm going to flip the camera around here now. We're going to take a look at some lots today because Andrew and I have to get this party started so that we can get up to the cottage. Again, I don't know if we're going to the cottage or if we're packing from here. I think we're going to go up to the cottage to grab some stuff for the class tomorrow. So it's going to be late night. So let's get this party started. Andrew does ask, what kind of Jello, Kimberly, are you putting with the Greek yogurt? Susan says, really a late 40s to 60s thing with all the Jello salads. Yeah, I can see that. Now watch my camera not stay. This whole time my camera has not flipped on its own. And you watch. We're gonna put the good. We're gonna talk the good talk to the camera. Hopefully it won't flip itself around all night long tonight like it was last night. Kimberly says, yep, mix a couple teaspoons of Jello or pudding in Greek yogurt and some flax seeds, stir and enjoy. So you don't make the, do you make the Jello first and then add it, or are you mixing the Jello powder in the yogurt? Susan says, Jello is the mom of food, but it hasn't aged as well. Whoop, sorry, comments are jumping. Andrew says, we watched Alien Earth instead of Love Witch last night. I wasn't in love with it. I fell asleep through it. I totally fell asleep through it. Kimberly says, just depends on my mood. I like the cheesecake pudding and strawberry mixed. Just the powder. Huh. Vicky says, we need to take Jello shot every time William's camera flips to vertical, right? You're going to be drunk by the end of the night. Jello is the mid-century modern. Yeah. I agree with that. Mid-century modern of food. Suzanne says, Andrew never watched it. I think it's a new show, right? I think it's a new show. Okay. So here's what we've got going on tonight. I pulled some stuff from the store, but first we're going to continue with showing you some of the Halloween kits, because I still have some here, and these are the ones that are already in the online store. Andrew stayed home today like he was supposed to, so he did not make another kit for Halloween. He's a little bit behind on that. So we're going to show you some of the older kits that are still in the online store that you can still get if you'd like to at allegorygallery.com. Suzanne says Jägermeister shots. I used to love me some Jägermeister shots. Jaeger bombs, which is not the greatest combination of Red Bull and Jaeger. And those were one of my things when I was in college / in my early 20s. Jaeger bombs. Andrew says it's a new one. It looked good, but I felt it was boring and kind of lazy with the suspense. Diane says, if you don't like Jello shots, make pudding shots. That's something I've never had, a pudding shot. I don't drink anymore, but that sounds better. Andrew says, I do like that there are other aliens besides Xenomorph. Andrew says, not on the Jägermeister. Yeah, Andrew does not like that flavor, not one bit. Jaeger bombs sound awful, says Susan. Oh, they are not great, but boy, they got you going. It was at that point in my life, that's what it was about, was having a good time, and I had a good time on some Jaeger bombs. You drop that little shot into that glass of Red Bull, and you were ready to go for the night. It gives me PTSD, says Andrew, right? Yes, it does. All right, let's take a look firstly at some kits, some Halloween kits that we have in the online store. I no longer drink Jägermeister, says Suzanne. Never had one, never will have one. Yuck, says Kimberly. Mary says, I used to drink Black Russians, but with no cherries. Brooke says, I always preferred tequila. I always hated tequila. Tequila was my worst enemy. I was not a good tequila drinker. Although, we had a party at my one professor's house one time. They had students over. It was all legit, but it was, we had this tequila tasting, and it was all very high-end tequilas, especially imported. And I did have some good tequila that night, but that was the exception to most tequilas. I've never had, this was sippable, good tasting stuff. Most tequilas I find are terrible. And they do make me feel terrible. Andrew says, I remember having to look for someone's tooth from a Jägermeister. What? I don't think I've heard that story. Suzanne says the same thing. What? I worked as a bar back in an Irish pub, and they would do them there. Kimberly says, I can only drink vodka or tequila, but I don't really drink anymore. I used to be like the king of mixing everything. I drank everything all in the same night, no holes barred. It was whatever I wanted at the moment I wanted it. I was one of those people. It never bothered me. I could mix anything, I could drink anything after anything else. Never had any issues. But definitely not anymore. Tequila makes my hub sick, says Susan. Me too. That was the one thing I never, ever tried to have. And inevitably, my friends, at the end of the night, everyone wanted to do tequila shots before the night was over. And so we would do them. And that, if I ended up being sick, that was the only thing that I tasted. And it was disgusting. And it's bad news. And terrible. Terrible. I, to this day, cannot drink tequila. Will not drink tequila. Kimberly says, one drink and I'm stumbling and struggling to stay off the floor. Oh boy, that's no good. Andrew says, you know how the shot glass goes into the bigger glass? It knocked into someone's front tooth and I had to find it for them. Oh my goodness. Suzanne says, I have that yellow kit. It's fantastic. Marion says, blah to mixing drinks. Yeah, I used to mix everything. I would often start the night with a 43 and Coke. And then move into usually rum and Cokes. And then screwdrivers. And then some wine for the night. And sometimes go back to something sweet after the wine. That was usually a fairly typical night. Sometimes a Smirnoff or a bottled drink. So this is a very cool kit. Brooks says, I can really go for a margarita right now. Andrew says, did you know tequila is a neurotoxin? You can technically get drunk by putting your hand in it and it can get absorbed by your skin. Kimberly says, I have a bottle of pre-mixed 1800 margarita in my fridge. It might be a try to stay off the floor night. It might be a try to stay off the floor night. Oh boy. Oh boy. So this starts with this strand, a beautiful vintage check. Then you get these beautiful resin beads. They're super cool. You get these, we've taken a look at this strand before. We had one of these strands for sale the other night. You get these skulls in here. You get this little darling little charm here. And then you get these fiber optic faceted beads here. And this one, let me jump into our online store here. And let you know. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. This one is Halloween 2022 Inspiration Kit number 9. Number 9. And I think it's one of my very favorite Halloween kits we've ever done. Oh, take a shot, everybody. Time to take a shot. It's Friday night shots. Every time the camera flips. Kimberly says, oh, wow, that is a cool kit, isn't it? Super cool. I love these fiber optic beads. I adore these. These are really special. This bright yellow metallic strand of vintage check. I love these too. These resin, super cool. So you get all of this, and it's only $18. What? $18? That's a 2022 price, y'all. So that is available in the online store. I have a number of those available. Once they're gone, though, they are gone. We have no more, I think, of these, the fiber optic, and I don't know if we have any more of these in stock either. Susan says, my drinking shot is H2O. At least I'll stay hydrated, right? Me too, Susan. Me too. I've got my juice water beside me. Definitely going to stay hydrated tonight if this camera acts at all like it did last night. That was making me a little bit batty last night, with as much as the camera was flipping around. Andrew says, we sound like lushes even though we hardly even drink now. There was a bead store called the Bead Lush. That's funny. Yeah, Andrew and I barely drink. Every once in a while, if we're out somewhere and it's like a celebration, sometimes we'll have a drink. Or to if I'm feeling exceptionally non-social, sometimes I will. But I find that drinking anymore pretty much gives me a headache. So I don't really do it much. And I end up usually slightly depressed for about 2 days after I drink. And so it's really not worth it to me to feel that way. Andrew says, I did a trunk show there while I was fasting on a master cleanse. Talk about a mistake. Oh, doing a bead show in any way while you're on a master cleanse does not sound like a thing that you would want to be doing. Master cleanses on their own, that's a rough thing to do. All right, this kit, let me see if I can find this one. Hopefully this one is listed somewhere. There it is. Halloween 2022 Inspiration Kit number 8. This one is only $24. And this one starts with the vintage check glass. Oh, shot time, everybody. We're going to have fun tonight. So we have the vintage check. We also have the vintage, this is Chinese ceramic, these little knot beads. We had these in another kit yesterday, I think, in one of the other Halloween kits. Then we have these beautiful big fiber optic beads. And we have these skulls. These are the ceramic skulls. These ones do not have the crystal eyes. So if you don't like the crystal eyes, these ones might be more your speed. And then we have these vintage check beads. Let's see here. Suzanne says, I'll pass on the master cleanse. Susan says, I've lost my taste for alcohol as I've gotten older. I don't miss it at all. Now chocolate is a very different story. Yeah, my mom and aunt and I were talking about, I think one of the wine festivals is coming up this coming weekend. And we used to go to the wine festivals, and we as a family would buy boxes, and they love to see us coming because we would sometimes buy almost an entire box of wine, and that's like at least 9 bottles of wine per vendor. And we would have wine for months. We were a big wine drinking family. It also supported the local wineries and vineyards, which was nice, but because they were all small businesses. But now none of us drink wine anymore. All of us end up now. My aunt, she has AFib, so it's not really a great idea for her to be drinking too much. But my mom and I both get digestion and headache issues if we drink wine. So, and you get this charm with this. So that's a beautiful kit, cool green color. This is a $24 kit. Halloween 2022, inspiration number 8. Vicky says, me too, a glass of wine only every few weeks. Andrew says, they were next to a Thai restaurant and I gave into peer pressure of going out with the owner. And let's just say I got my steps in running to the bathroom back and forth. Oh boy. Marion says, can't honestly remember the last time I had a drink. Suzanne says, I'm liking green for Halloween more and more. Yeah, I like that. I like this kit a lot. Andrew says, that was fun to go with your mom and aunt. It was fun because they were not afraid to purchase the wine and try the wine. It was always a really fun time as a family. That sounds terrible, right? Getting drunk as a family is so fun. But we always had a really good time wine tasting and hanging out and stuff. But and it's kind of sad that none of us drink anymore because we can't. Like, it doesn't feel good. None of us really enjoy it anymore. But now they come up to the store and we hang out sometimes, so that's nice. My mom used to make wine too. Yeah, that's another thing. My mom used to make wine. She was so into it. She made her own wine. And now we don't do any of that anymore. Andrew says, people would light up like Christmas when they saw your aunt and mom coming. Yes, they would. Yes, they would. They got to know them pretty well, that if they were coming to your booth, your table. And it all depended too, right, on, there were some wines, honestly, that we would take home and we were like, this must have been late in the trip, because we'd get it back and we'd be like, oh, this is not as good as we remember it being. We're like, did we actually pick this bottle? Because by that point you had a good bit of wine throughout the event. And sometimes they tasted better than they did when when you hadn't had a few tastings under your belt. Andrew says, when we decided to move here, one of the things we did was go around to the different wineries and do tastings. Yeah, we did. All right, and here's another one. This is another kit. This is just a cute little one. This one, let me see, what one is this one? This one is 2023 Inspiration Kit number 6. And it has this cute little mushroom. This one does not have to be Halloween really at all. Oh, shot number 3, everybody, for those of you who are partaking. Shot number 3. And then you get this beautiful strand of these Czech glass drukes, vintage Czech. And then you get in this little bag, let me see if I can open this up. I think there's only one of this kit left, if I'm not mistaken. Come on. And this kit is only $12. Come on. There we go. It's this cool button. This is a vintage Czech glass mushroom button. So there is where the button goes through. And you get that with this. So this kit is $12 for those 3 things. Vicky said, I used to have a neighbor who would make me some wonderful mead, ice cold on a summer hot night, pure bliss. Andrew says, y'all used to love that spicy iced wine. Yes. Oh, I did. It was called, one of them I think was Fire and Ice, and it was an ice wine, so it was super sweet, but it had a pepper kick to it. Oh, that was so good. That was good on a hot summer night for sure, and on a cold winter's night as well. I did used to love ice wine. Andrew says, it was a nice way to explore the region. I remember one time we drove up and the owner was dumping an entire bottle in a 7-Eleven big cup over ice. And she said, you can judge me if you want, but I can do what I want. LOL. It's true. She was pouring red wine into a giant cup, like a 7-Eleven big gulp cup, over ice. And she was like, I own the place. If I want to drink my red wine over ice, I'm going to drink my red wine over ice. And she did. And she liked it. And it was good. I tried it. So it was fun. Those were fun times, I have to say. All right. Let's get started with the show. Let's see here. All right. Let me check this. Change my screen. My night shift is turned on. It just hit 9 o'clock. I feel like it's much later than this, but it's not. Okay. But I should have been started with the show already. Let's get going here, everybody. Let's start with these. Andrew, what do we want to do? We want to do a discount on this stuff? What do you think? Do like 20% off. We'll do a 20% off night on this stuff. Marianne is going to say nighty night now. Good night, Marianne. Susan says mead does sound lovely. Andrew says, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to do, let me see if I have a banner for this so everybody knows what we're doing. All right, there we go. 20% off lots today, this weekend only. So you can do the rewatch. If you're doing the rewatch, we'll give you the things for this weekend. But once the weekend is over, I cannot give this anymore because these are going to be things from the store. They're going back up to the store, and I have to gather them before close up the store for the weekend. That's my excuse. That's when it ends. Round it to an even number. I'm just going to take it off of the invoice. So it's just going to be, I'm going to give you the before price. So this is the before price, and you will get 20% off of your invoice when I send it. That's how we're going to do it. That's the easiest way for me to do it. Suzanne, did I say that never had mead? Andrew says, I like it, but not everyone likes it. I am not a fan of mead. I have to say, I'm not a fan, generally, of mead. You would think I would be, because I love honey and all that. I'm not a fan of mead. Okay, so lot numbers are FTS tonight. From the store, that's where I got that. Sometimes these make sense. From the store one, $8. These are vintage German resin. And these are Buddhas. Double-sided Buddhas. $8 for the strand. You will get 20% off of all the prices we're quoting you tonight when I send out the invoice. All right. FTS2. $8. I also have two of these ones. I've just sold one of the FTS ones. Thank you so much. FTS2 is the same Buddhas, but this time in purple, which I think is a beautiful color. I love these. So you get them in purple. Andrew says, I think it depends on the honey. Sometimes it's fresh and slightly floral. Sometimes it tastes musty, like someone's grandma's purse. Most of the time I've had mead, it's a very musty flavor, and I do not like it. It is not my groove. Not my groove, not at all. I don't know if I've ever had mead that's not musty tasting, but honey itself is a little musty tasting, right? Like really, if you think about it, and if you're really thinking about it when you take honey, it has that little bit of musty taste to it. so it does make sense, but it doesn't make it any better. All right. Suzanne says, I've had spiced wine. Spiced wine can be good, or it can be overly spiced. It's just like we were talking the other night about all that pumpkin spice stuff. It can be good, and it can be way overdone with spices, depending on who's doing it. Andrew says, oh, I had a delicious one that was cut with apple cider, and it was so yummy. Oh. FTS3. This is vintage resin. And I have one strand of this vintage resin, these blue kind of drops. One strand available. This is a $14 strand. It's a large strand. One of those available. And remember, you will get 20% off of the price shown. So this is the base price. I'll take 20% off of your invoice if you order this weekend on any of these. These prices are only good, however, for tonight and this weekend. These prices expire on Monday or Sunday night, to be more technical, right? Okay. FTS4. Trying to make sure I get all of these that I've got here. Let's see here. Andrew says, we used to give out spice wine at the shop. Yeah, we did. It was good when we did that, I think. Pumpkin spice just seems bitter to me, says Susan. Yeah, I don't like pumpkin spice. Not a fan. Apple spice, yes. Pumpkin spice, no. Vicky says, that sounds wonderful, Andrew. Andrew says, they would do late nights in town and light luminaries through the whole town, and we'd serve hot spiced wine or hot chocolate. Suzanne says, Andrew, that sounds magical. It was. It was kind of nice, right? FTS4. These are $6 each. These are a vintage resin as well, or vintage plastic bead. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of these has 7. One of these has 8. That's not right. Well, let's just cut that. Let's even it out. $4 for those. $4 for those. I don't know how to do that. Let's just do it. Let's just do the one. Because that's the wrong. They have different numbers. How do they have different numbers? They probably had different prices originally. I'm just going to give a really good price on that one. FTS4. 2. Andrew says, I sometimes miss those events in town. I got to meet so many of the locals that way. It's true. FTS5. I'm going to do 6 on these because these are the same. FTS5. Andrew says, we used to become the hangout shop and folks would come and talk and sometimes make stuff. These are FTS5. These are a really cool orange vintage plastic or vintage resin bead with glitter in. It's kind of twisty beads. $6 a strand before your discount. 2 strands available. FTS 5. Move these over. And I realize I'm not giving you sizes on these things. Let's see. Sizing here, 12 millimeters. Sizing here, 8 millimeters by about 12 and a half. But these were 12 by about 13 and a half. These ones are 9 and a half by 14. These would go great with those green glitter earrings. Oh yeah, these with the green glitter earrings we had the other night. You're right. I forgot about those. I love those green glitter earrings. FTS 6. Let's see. This was $14. We're going to leave it at 14 because you're getting 20% off of these. These are large vintage resin. Vintage resin beads. They're kind of like a table cut cube. And you get the whole strand of them. And these are 15 millimeters. Yep, 15 by 15. 1 strand available in that kind of icy blue. FTS 6, $14 before your discount. All right. Let me, I just realized I don't know if I have bags. Andrew, do I have bags downstairs? Because I was planning to do this at the store and I forgot to bring bags. Let me see. Whoa. I have some bags here. Okay, let me put these away. Make some room here. And this is my friend Judy used to import those. She said that she'd have to pick them up at the docks and she and her friend would dress like dudes so they wouldn't get harassed. Right? These beads have some stories behind them. Some stories behind them. All right, I've got 1 strand of this one, FTS 7. These are the big Buddhas. Andrew says, yes, some of the stories of acquiring beads are wild. Whoops, the big Buddhas, $8 for those. They are 24 by 28 and a half millimeters. 1 strand available, FTS 7, $8. This is FTS 8, vintage resin, large round, or not rounds, large discs. They are about 32 by 4.5 millimeters. Andrew says, like Stephen and Juana had to flee the government police and had a high-speed chase on a Vespa with stones on their backs. Oh boy. So there's one strand of this available. Vintage resin, FTS 8. Putting 3 away. Let's see here. Let's see bags. Putting 4 away. Says, guess the police were trying to get bribes and they kept upping the bribes, so they escaped. Oh boy. Even I haven't heard some of these stories. FTS 6. I'm sorry, 5. FTS 5. And we'll move 6, 7, and 8 down. FTS 9. Let's see here. Oh, let go, let go. This is a very unusual strand of vintage Czech glass. Only one strand available. Vintage Czech glass. It is a very long strand. Let's see here. It is a 20-inch strand of vintage Czech faceted drops. I don't know. Let me see if these. No, they don't glow. That's the string inside of them glowing. I just wanted to check because they are slightly yellow green color. FTS 9, $18 for the string before your 20% off. Let's see here. Andrew says, I would sometimes ask why certain beads are more expensive than others, and one of the sellers would be like, oh, I got parasites that trip, LOL. She knew that if she got me laughing, I would usually buy something, right? FTS 7 has just sold. Let me put that one away. Thank you so much. That's the Buddhas. And let's see what's next. This is another vintage Czech strand. $18, really low price for as big as this strand is. This is a 22-inch strand. 22-inch strand of vintage Czech glass. Love this kind of shape. Andrew says, one time my mom tried to marry me off for a discount on pearls. Andrew says, I was like, just a discount, not even free ones? Right? You gotta at least get some free pearls if you're gonna be part of the pearl family, right? FTS 10. These are about 7.5 millimeters by 14.5 millimeter beads. Lots of beads on that strand. $18 only before your 20% discount. Let go, let go, let go. Some of these strands are super long. Like this one, super duper deluxe long. We really should have raised the price on this. Oh boy, she said I wasn't good looking enough. LOL. Thanks, Mom, he says. Oh boy. This is FTS 11. This is a super long strand of vintage check in these kind of bicones. This strand is about 40 inches long, and it starts at only $18. What? That needs a price increase. These are really cool 5mm bicones, vintage check glass, about a 40-inch strand, $18. Let's see here. Another FTS 12, another vintage check strand. So these are super cool. I have not seen this shape since, or this style since we got these. And this is an approximate 23-inch strand of these beads, kind of gray, purple, black. Andrew said these ones are rare, right? 6mm by about 11.5mm. Only $18 before your discount. FTS 12. Andrew said, she told me recently that I shouldn't go away to teach so much because someone cuter will sweep you off my feet, off your feet while I'm away. Oh boy, like I have time for that. Like I've got time for that. That's not happening. Plus, I have no need for anybody else. That's cute of her to worry about that, though. FTS 8, gonna put that away. No takers on the vintage check tonight. Surprising. These are exceptionally good deals for very long strands. Andrew says, I told her it's okay if they can do the laundry. Take on a lover if they do the laundry. Might almost be worth it, right? All right. Getting silly tonight. We've got two of these strands of vintage check. Last vintage check strands of the night. These are 18 each. I've got two of them available. For those of you who like the black, these are black vintage check nuggets. They look like stones. Vintage check glass. Got your neutral black, very, again, long strands. Let's double this and double this, and these are 32-inch strands. 32-inch strands of basic black check glass nuggets. And they come in at about 4mm. Andrew says, if these don't sell, I want some. Andrew's shopping his own store tonight. FTS 13, I think he forgot these were available. FTS 13. All right. Oh, we sold 12. Somebody knew that that was too good of a deal to pass up. Yeah, those are very unusual. Very good deal at 18 minus 20%. We just sold one of the 13s. Thank you so much. What is 18 minus 20%? So $14.40 for anything that's $18 right now. $14.40, and these aren't flying off the table. Andrew says, nah, I just have a project now for my large self-portrait. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, one strand is sold. We still have one strand available. Anybody want any Roman glass? We've got Roman glass strands. These are the 2-hole Roman glass strands. Let me show you a little bit of what they look like. I will pick you a strand of these. That's how that works, because we've got a whole bundle of them here. But they are 2-hole Roman glass strands. This is 1,000 to 2,000 year old glass. And you get one strand of it. Generally, a strand is around about 20 inches. 20 inches. And there's all different strands, but they're all 2-hole beads. Super fun, super cool, beautiful colors. There's another possible strand you might get. And we're doing these only $40 a strand, and I've got multiple strands available. So what's that, $32 after discount? Yeah, $32 after discount for Roman glass, FTS 14. Andrew says, I remember my first strand of this. I coveted it so hard. I saved and saved. Yeah, it used to be super expensive. We got a really good deal on this. You will still find Roman glass from some places selling in the hundreds of dollars a strand. That spans the gamut of pricing. We get it from a supplier that we trust to be the real deal, and we get a really good deal on it. This is old pricing. We've had this, I think we've had this pretty much since we've started our store. We bought a bunch of it when we got such a good deal on it. And so I don't know what it would be if we tried to buy this now. Andrew says, we rarely have sales in the physical store, so this is a good opportunity. Yeah, we do not discount things in the physical store very often. Very rarely do we ever have a sale in the physical store. We have sales in the online store from time to time, but rarely in the physical store. So this is a good time to grab these. All right, I'm going to put 9 away since nobody has bought that. I'm going to put 10 away as well. This is still available. And I'm going to put 11 away. All right. I'm going to move 13 down, but I'm not going to move 14. This pile is just going to stay right there. FTS 15. Let's get into some what I think is really cool African glass. Let me see. I think I've just got one strand of this. This is $15 for the strand. FTS 15. And this is a beautiful African glass strand. It's like a pearlescent purple. It's a really glowy strand, and I very rarely see African glass like this. These are approximately about 3.5 millimeter beads, and you're getting a long strand, which is about, let's see, my ruler's getting covered up over here. This is approximately a 22-inch strand. FTS 15, one of these available, $15. Let go. FTS 16, and this is their opalescent. Yeah, the opalescent purple old glass. FTS 16, they are $15 each, and I've got two of them. Are these African glass in this kind of pink opal color, in these little rondelles. Really sweet. They're like a peachy pink color. And I've got two strands of those. They're the same size, the 22-inch strands approximately, and they're 4 millimeters. Andrew says, I don't know why there aren't more opalescent beads, right? Opalescent all the way. Who doesn't want more opalescent beads in their life? I do. I love the opalescent beads. FTS 17 coming up. Okay, this is another color. I've got two strands of these. $15 a strand. Two strands available of these glass African beads. Andrew says, I need to practice with opalescent enamels. They're really tricky. Diane says, I need to go. Catch the rest on replay. Good night. Have a great night, Diane. Thanks for hanging out with us and chatting. It was a fun night so far. We appreciate you being here. So that's those ones. And then FTS 18. I have one more color of these. These ones. So this is more of a pinky opalescent. And this is FTS 18. Really pretty color. And that FTS 18. So to show you these kind of opalescent ones, there's 15, 17, and 18. Andrew says, I don't know what is in those patches your mom gave you today, but they're magic. Oh, yeah? They're helping out? That's good. She'll be happy to hear that. I'm going to put the Roman glass away. Nobody seems to be grabbing that tonight. FTS 14. Andrew said, I would love to see these stitched on top of a metallic to make them glow, right? And then, let's see here, FTS 19. These are also $15. We just sold 18. Thank you so much. This is FTS 19. This is an African glass, a vintage African glass strand. Andrew says, or with a metallic thread. That would be fun with a metallic thread. FTS 20 is, running out of room, is this strand. Let me take the ring off here. Andrew says, I think they'd make cute stacker bracelets too. These ones would definitely make cute stack bracelets. Little stacker bracelets. FTS 18 is kind of lavender color. These are the two of these together. They're slightly different. Mix and match these. These would be fun to mix and match for little stacker bracelets. These ones are a little bit more round. These are a little bit more oval and darker in color slightly. Just string them up on some stretchy, he says. It's true. This would be great on some stretchy. All right, I'm going to put the 13s away. Looks like Andrew's getting one of those. We've only sold one, so he's going to get the other one. For his project. They're dreamy, very dreamy color palette, right? I think this whole palette right here is so pretty together. It's like a pastel-y, beautiful color palette. Look at that. So pretty. Now 18 is sold already, so I'm going to take 18 out of here. Andrew says the black ones are little mini English cuts. They're nice. I'm surprised they're still available, but they're nice. All right, let's see here. What do I have here? Oh, I found one more of 18. So if anybody wants another 18, there is another one available. It was on the other strand. All right. And just put some of his little bronze charms on it. Chef's kiss, right? I know. Super cute. Okay. Let's see. I've done this tray, then that tray. Let's move on to some other check glass here. Andrew says, I don't know if Soft Like sells the champagne anymore, but that'd be awesome. Yeah, it would. I think we still have some of that in store. Maybe. These are only $5 each. This is a very old price. My tags are falling apart on these. Very old price on these. FTS 21. These are these look at this tag falling apart. Check glass face beads. I think they would go really well with a lot of this stuff here too. These bronzy kind of face beads. You get the whole strand, $5 a strand. Old price, old tag. That's an old 2000 number. That's pretty much close to when we started numbering things with the barcode labels. 2 strands of those available, $5 each only. Told you we don't go through and up our prices when we probably should. Andrew says, I haven't seen those for a long time. I know. We've sold one of them so far. Thank you so much. I'm going to put 16 away. I'm going to put 17 away. Let's move these down. Still have one of 21. Remember, you're getting 20% off everything tonight. We just sold the other 21. Thank you so much. Both 21s have sold. Sold out on those. Let me put them both in a bag together. Andrew says maybe do some wire wrap dangles and make hair. Reminds me of the Joyce J. Scott exhibit we saw in Baltimore. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be super cool. Put a little hair on there. All right, let's see what all we've got here. We've got 3 strands of these available, and they are $7 each before your discounts. These are check glass. And, oops, sorry. These ones are approximately 11 by 20 millimeters. $7 a strand. FTS 22. Oh, we just sold 19. Thank you so much. I'll put that away. Andrew said these are pretty rare. We just sold one of the 22s. Thank you so much. We have the 23. Which is this version. $7. Check glass strand. Which is the white and blue version instead of the black and blue. And let's see. Yeah. FTS 24. Let's see, we've just sold all of 22. Thank you so much. 22 is sold out. Put those all together, put those in a bag together. Thank you so much. And, oops, drop some papers. $23 is still available. 24, only $4 are these melon cut in blue on blue. So it's a blue glass with a blue lining on the melon. These are a small melon bead. They're about 5.5, well, we'll say 6. We'll say 6 millimeter. 6 millimeter, 6.5 millimeters, somewhere in there, melon. 1 strand left of that at that price. That's a really good price for melon strand. FTS 24. Andrew says, I feel like they used to be more experimental with the glass back in the day, right? I think now they probably stick to things that they know are like generally good sellers because they have to, but they used to really be more experimental with things. Andrew said, Ava was saying how they lost, no wait, how some of the glass recipes got lost. When folks were fleeing, they had to sew the recipes into their clothes and hide them in the soles of their shoes. 24 has just sold. Thank you so much. And let's see here. How about 25? $4 for these. FTS 25. Are these melons in pink? They're kind of a stripy pink. If you can see those stripes in there. Really cool stripy pink melon with a little bit of a gold metallic on it, which gives it that extra flair. These are about the 6 millimeter, 6 to 6.5 millimeter size. Again, $4 for those. Let's see here. These are $6. I've got 2 of these. We just sold 25. Thank you so much. Put that away. Andrew says, my holy grail of Czech German beads would be Billikens. So some of them, erotic beads, a lot of them were destroyed. All right, 26. These are $6 each. I've got 2 of them available. These are these melon beads with the silver on them. Andrew says, the Billikens are good luck creatures with giant feet. These are a super unique kind of style of glass that they do on these. It's kind of like a rough glass, and then they've got that painted coating on there. 2 strands of those available. These are larger melons at about 7.5 millimeters. FTS 26, only $6 a strand, 2 strands available. And remember, all these prices are before you get your extra 20% off on the invoice. So we'll be taking 20% off all of these prices. Andrew says the erotic beads were made for promotional materials for brothels. Oh boy. Suzanne says, Andrew, I have a Billiken bead. Anne says, I love the crusty look of 26 as well as the colors. I know, right? They're super cool. And I think those are the last ones of that style we have left. And they both sold. Thank you so much. Andrew says, lucky. Let's see, what else do I have in here? These are $5 for the strand. I've only got one strand of these. FTS 27. These are these red cord melons. So they have a red core as well as a red stripe on the outside. And these are small. These are about a 5 to 5.5 millimeter. And FTS 27. Andrew says, I have a small Billiken charm and a piggy bank. Suzanne says, I got it from Phil Maskey. From Phil, good old Phil. Andrew says, we imported those crusty ones. I thought we did. I wasn't sure, though. I thought those were ones that we brought in. Andrew says, Phil, so much cool stuff. I want to visit his shop one day. Yeah, he does. And yes, we do. All right, I've got 2 strands of these. They are $8 each. FTS 28. Or, whoops, see that tag is so, look how old that tag is. It's a 1000 number. We started with the 1000s. So that's way back machine. And these are these pink beads with the kind of serrated edges with a gold on the edge. Got 2 strands of those. I'm going to be very careful with that other tag so I don't lose it. I'll need to replace those tags, obviously. And that's an old price on that tag, too. FTS 28. Very unique style and cut. All right, what do I have next? How about some mini English cuts? I didn't even know we had these. Sometimes I find things I don't remember we have. Andrew says, the only reason we still have these is that we had these set aside. They got put in a box and I found them when we were moving into the new store. See? Both of those have just sold. Thank you so much. These I totally didn't know we had. This is another 2000 number. These are old ones. These are small English cut. Got 3 of them available. Only $4. Look at that old price for English cut. This pinky gold, again, that kind of color palette. English cut, but in the small size. These are about 7.5 millimeters by about 7. Really pretty. You don't see the small English cut very often. Usually it's the larger size. FTS 29, 3 of these available. We just sold one of them. Thank you so much. We've still got 2 of those left. FTS 30. It feels so quiet in here now. They were doing, they had the field band down on the field, and I was listening to the drummer, the field, marching band, and now there's no marching band. And so it feels really quiet to me suddenly. FTS 30 are these trees. Check glass tree coins, $17 for the strand. 1 strand only left. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 beads on there. These coins are approximately 19.5 by 7 or 6.5, 7. FTS 30 has just sold. Thank you so much. We sold another 29, so there's only 1 29 left if you're interested in that one, the small English cut. Andrew said, these ones got made when the seller went over and found these molds and asked them to make them again. The maker didn't want to do them and said no one wanted those old style beads. Oh, the small English cut? Yeah, sometimes you gotta ask for stuff, right? These were super popular in the store. We only have 2 colors of these, I think, left. Andrew said they eventually convinced them to make them. Now they're super popular again, but there's a good 30 years they weren't being made. They said no one wanted English cut because you can usually see the mold lines. That's true, right? These are $4.50. I've got 2 strands of these drooks, and they're these spotted. Look again, this is an old tag. These spotted drooks. They look like little bird eggs. They're super cute. We sold a lot of these when we first had them. These ones are 6 millimeters. Andrew said a lot of the twisted shapes aren't being made now. So those are $4.50, 2 strands of those available. I'm going to put 20 away since it is not sold. Get that off of here. That's 20. That's the African glass. Oh, somebody just sent me an email for 32, but I haven't done 32 yet. Okay, good. You caught your own thing. Let me delete 32 so I make sure you don't get 32. Got 31 though. So you got one of the 31s has sold. Thank you so much. And you might want 32 as well, but let me at least get it out there for you. This is FTS 32. It is $9, and it is the larger size. Oh, 31. The other 31 just sold, so let me put those away. Thank you so much. $32 is the larger spotted drooks. And these ones are the 8mm size. Andrew says, I used to teach a class on making a wire nest, and these were the eggs. Yeah, we did the little ones. This is a very old tag. This is a pretty nice large strand, and 32 for $9 has just sold. Thank you so much. Gone. FTS 33. These I think are kind of unique melon blend. We've got $6 on these, only 2 strands of these available. This is a mixed melon strand in this kind of minty green pink color with the gold accent. And these are about an 8mm, we'll say, melon. Andrew said, I used to sell these when we had a big cartel shop. And this is 33. One of these have sold so far. Thank you so much. We've got one of these still available. I think you're getting really good prices on the check glass tonight. Thank you so much for grabbing it, for those of you who are. Another big seller on the check glass used to be these kind of pearlescent ones. I don't know if pearlescent's the word. Is that the word? These. Really pretty color. These are an 8mm melon. One strand of this available, $6. Really pretty color. Andrew says, you can tell that I picked these. Look for opalescent beads, melons, and AB finish, LOL. Right? 34 has just sold. Thank you so much. Somebody tried to buy another 28. I'm sorry, those sold out before. 34 has sold, so let me put that away. All right. And let's see here, FTS 35. We have this mixed strand. Actually, have 2 of them. Of the pink beads with the white and the gold. These are melons. Again, an 8mm melon. That's FTS 35. Let's see here. These are fun. And these are very old as well. I mean, very old for us. We sold one of the 35s. Thank you. 36 are these kind of elongated melons. Look at that color. Look at that fun. $6 for those. And these are approximately about 7.5 by 10-ish. We just sold the last 29, I believe. Let me check on that. Yes, the last 29 is just sold, so let me pull that off of the mat. Thank you so much. Andrew said, if I won the lotto, I'd try to bring one of the glass factories over here and try to match up younger folks with the older mentors so that it will continue to live on. Wouldn't that be great? You've just sold both 36s. Thank you, thank you. Clearing out some of our store check glass inventory tonight. Thank you all. We appreciate that. It's going to be not always easy to get check glass going forward, right? Depending on what happens with tariffs. That big ugly T word right now. Let's see, what should I pick next to show? These are $6 each. I've got 2 of these available. Andrew says, yep, these were when we had the blue store. I think the box must have been lost. Yeah, those are 1,000 numbers. Those are definitely back in the blue store. These are check glass acorns. So we've got 2 strands of these check glass acorns. Super great coming into fall time. Pretty large strands of those. And they're $6 a strand. The acorns on there are approximately 6 millimeters by 8.5 millimeters. $6 a strand. Yeah, 6 a strand, 2 strands available. FTS 37. FTS 38. We've sold 1 of the acorn strands. Thank you so much. There's still 1 left. FTS 38, I've only got 1 of these melons. These are a blue melon with a gold inlay. $6 for the strand, 8 millimeter size. Only $6. Andrew says, I remember that they were in the blue store because we had a wooden display from the Philippines we used to show them on. FTS 38 has sold. Thank you so much. I'm going to put that one away since there's only 1. Says, I don't know what happened to that display caddy though. It looked like a giant flower. I don't remember the giant flower. FTS 39. Let's see. Yeah, what's next? I always love these. These are old too. 2,000 numbers. These are $7 each. I've got 2 of them available. These are beautiful, I think. Beautiful drops. Beautiful color in these. Check glass drops. It's kind of metallics. Andrew says, I can't believe we'll be celebrating 14 years in a few weeks. I know. It's wild to think. We've been in business for 14 years with Allegory Gallery. Our baby's turning 14. FTS 39, 2 strands of those available. Let me give you the size on these too. We've got them just about 9 millimeters by 19 millimeters. And let's see here. What are we going to end the show with tonight? FTS 40. They call these watercolor beads, says Andrew. The watercolor drops. They're really pretty. Let's see. What should I pick to end the night with tonight. And end the week with, right? We're ending the whole week. How about these? How did I miss these before? Andrew says, usually see them on white bases, not transparent much. Let's see, we just sold both of 39. Let me pull that away since I do need the room anyway. Thank you so much. This is $45. One strand of this available. Are these melons? These are the smaller size melons. I think that was what, 5.5, 6 millimeter? Yeah, about 6 millimeter melons with this kind of blue, purpley gray color. These are really pretty, really unique, and that has just sold. Thank you so much. Boy, I'm on a roll. I feel like I should do more, but maybe we'll stop there. What do y'all think? Should I do 5 more lots, or should I stop? What do y'all say? What do y'all say? Let me start putting these away. Andrew says, one of my favorite Miriam Haskell pieces is of acorns. It'd be cool to see a redux of that design, right? Kimberly says to keep going. What's everybody else say? What do you think? He says, I'm loving this check. 5 more, says Andrew. All right. I can do 5 more. Let's see what we've got. 27 didn't sell. This one didn't sell. Let me look. No, 27 didn't sell. Let me put that one away. Surprising. The red melons. Vicky says keep going too. All right. Let me make some room here. May as well keep going while we're giving a discount out, right? FTS, a little extra bonus. 41. Okay, let's see. What can I start with? Let's start with this tray. I have 2 more of these. These were $7 each. 2 of them available. Susan's getting tired, but an additional 5 is doable. All right, let's do 5 more. These are a kind of yellow color, yellow-green. It's like a light. Whoa, look how old that strand was. It just fell right apart. It's been on the strand for a long time. All right. Yeah, that strand just broke. That's a plastic strand. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm not going to touch this one too hard. Got 2 strands of those available. FTS 41. And those are the same size as the other ones. So those are about 9 by, 18.5, 19. Andrew says, plus Gertie is being extra cute, and if you come down, she'll abandon me. Yeah, because she's going to be hungry, right? She knows it's going to be time to eat. All right. FTS 41 are those. FTS 42. Let's see what I've got here. These are $6 each. I've got 2 of these. Oh, excuse me. Are these melons? They're a white and transparent. Some are more transparent than others. Some are more white than others, with a copper lining, copper accent. 2 strands of these available. super cool strands. Thank you, Suzanne. FTS 42, 2 strands available. Let me pull 33 off of here to make room. Still got one of those left. And I'll pull 35. We've still got one of those left. Let's move these down. One of my friends asked me to go to the Czech Republic with them one day. Andrew says, yeah, one day we'll get to go, right? I'd love to go because Slovakia is where my family comes from, or part of it. And I'd love to go visit. I think somewhere in my grandmother's stuff that I inherited, there is a book that shows where in Slovakia we have family. And I think that would be cool to see if anybody's still around. Let's see, how about this one? This is an old vintage one. I only have one of these. And says maybe I'll put it on the 2026 vision board. So this is old vintage. You can see this is a 1000 number. And these are red. You can see the shape there. Really cool beads. Vintage Czech glass. $6 for the strand. 1 strand available. These are approximately 7.5 millimeters by 16. FTS 43. And then these are $5 each, and I've got 2 of them. FTS 44 are these strands. These are some of those rough glass again, with the kind of rough painting, but this time in a smooth rondelle shape instead of the melon. And these are great, like little spacers or for earrings. They're 5 millimeters, $5 a strand. Only 2 of these available. Kind of that chunky, rough coating. I love those. 2 strands, FTS 44. Andrew said, I love these ancient style beads, right? We've sold one of these so far. We've sold the other one. Both of those are now sold. Thank you so much. Andrew said, I used to call them Atlantis beads, right? That makes sense. Perfect name for those. And what's going to be the ending? How are we going to end tonight? Boy, I don't know. Let's do these. Got 1 strand of these. See if we'll sell this last strand of these off. FTS 45. Kimberly says they're giving sea glass vibes, right? And these are these mini melons again, this time with a purple lined core with a purple accent. It's kind of a bluey purple, lavender kind of purple. Really pretty. These are these small, approximately 5.5 millimeter melons. $5 for the strand. 1 strand of those available. FTS 45. And that, my friends, is the show for tonight. Remember, all invoices tonight will get the extra 20% discount when I send them out. If you get an invoice and I forget to take off the 20%, give me a few minutes to realize I made a mistake, because sometimes that happens. And if I don't correct it, then send me an email. But because last time we did this, I forgot it first, and I sent out like 3 invoices, and I was like, oh, I didn't turn on the 20%, and then I went back and corrected them all. So if I do forget, just give me a few minutes to correct that. Check your email again later, and if I don't correct it, I will probably remember by morning. But if I don't, just give me an email back. Let's see. Do you have any weird or unusual shapes in that box? Says Kimberly. What's weird or unusual, Kimberly? What's weird and unusual? I just sold 43, so 43 has just sold. Thank you, thank you. I don't know. What's weird and unusual? Andrew said, also, it's just for the stuff for tonight. Yes. Other than rectangle or melon. Well, I have these I didn't show at all. I don't know, is that weird? I have a bunch of these shapes in different, here. I have those. I have those shapes. So I've got those. I don't know if those are weird or unusual. You know, to us, weird and unusual means different things, because we always have weird and unusual shapes. I have Susan says Buddhas. Yep, I've got Buddhas. I've got these, kind of the laser etched daggers. Andrew said the Scorpios are weird. Yep, they're definitely a little weird, right? Suzanne says such treasures. If anyone sees anything that they would like, let me know. Like specifically say, I want those, and I'll make a lot number for you. Let's party tonight, right? We do have to get ready for the class though, so tell me quickly if you see anything you definitely want to see. Got these. Kimberly, do you really want to see them? Star of Ishtar is good. Scorpions, bicones. Let's see the arabesques and the Buddhas. All right, all right. I wasn't going to show those tonight. I didn't know if anybody want to see those. All right, let's keep going. For those of you who want to keep going, for those of you who want to sign off, have a great night. For those of you who want to stay and hang out, stay and hang out with us a little longer. Okay. Andrew wants to see the Scorpios. So here's the Scorpios. I've got 3 of these available, and they are only $5 a strand. What a freaking deal, honestly. I mean, where are you going to find a strand like that for $3? Suzanne's heading off. Enjoy. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Have a great night. So there's the Scorpios, FTS 46. We've sold 1 of those so far. Thank you so much. FTS 47. Let's do, we got a request for Buddhas. Let's see. Kimberly says, yep, got to have bugs, right? Got to get the bugs. Got to get all the bugs. I only got 1 strand of this Buddha. Andrew says, I want to get other zodiac signs, but I only found these. This way. FTS 47 is this rainbow Buddha head. Super cool. I've only got one strand of this color. That's $9. FTS 48 are the blue Buddhas. You just claim the same way, Susan. This is how do we claim I want the rainbow. Same way, FTS 47. These are FTS 48. These are the blue Buddha heads, kind of like a lapis with this almost like a silvery metallic. $11 each. 2 strands of those available. Let me make some room here if we're going to do some more. All right, 47 has sold. Thank you so much. Let's see, I'm going to make room on my desk. All right, this poor strand fell apart. Let me put this in here. Let's see here. All right. I'll do FTS 49. Do one more strand of these Buddhas. If you want more Buddhas, let me know, but I'll do the white FTS 49, or the white and silver Buddha heads. One strand of those available, $6 on those. They are different prices because they're different finishes, and they come in at different prices for us when we import them. So that's why there are all different prices on the Buddhas and on a lot of this stuff. Some of the stuff we imported, and each material or each color was different. Okay, somebody also is requesting the arabesques, so let me do those as well. Got multiple people asking for those. FTS 50. Let's see, in this particular colorway, I've got one. These are $10. FTS 50 are these. They've got a slightly purple edge. Beautiful color. FTS 51. These are $6 each. We've got 2 of them. Kimberly's asking, are they table cut? No. They are. Oh, Andrew says yes. They are pressed and then table cut. I didn't realize these were table cut. I thought they were just pressed. These ones are table cut. Sorry. These ones, yes, are table cut. These ones are just pressed. You're right. As I was looking at them, That's why the price difference. There's an extra step in these ones. So these ones are table cut. I was already on these ones, sorry. Let's see here. I'm also running out of bags. If I run out of bags, I can't do any more. Uh, 50 has just sold. Thank you so much. Let me move these down, move the bugs down, move the Buddha heads down. If you like the table cut ones better, we've got these. There are 2 of these. They are $10 each. FTS 52 is this style that is table cut. It's Picasso edged. And then table cut on these in this color. And I've got 2 strands of those. And somebody asked about, we've just sold one of the 52s. Thank you so much. Let's see, what else? Star of Ishtar. I haven't done any of those. Said I've never seen that bead in a table cut, says Kimberly. We may have imported those. I can't remember. Andrew would remember, probably. We may have imported them special, which may be why you haven't seen them. And we just sold the other 52. Thank you so much. Both of those have now sold. Andrew says, I'm excited to spend the day with you tomorrow. I know, it's going to be fun, right? We're going to have a good time. We get to spend the day together a good bit, but not doing the things. I like teaching with you. 53. Star of Ishtar. I don't have many colors left in this. To be perfectly honest, I've got 3 different ones, so we'll do these 3 different ones. I have 1 left here. Andrew says, we didn't import those, but I got them from a friend who gets unusual cuts and shapes. This is the first one. I've only got 1 of these. This is an orange with a pink, like a pink metallic inlay. $10 on that one. FTS 54. $12. I've got 2 of these ones. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Excuse me. And then this one is FTS 54. Oh, somebody else just tried to grab a 52. Sorry, they have all sold. Let me look. Let me make sure. Yeah, they have all sold. This is a multicolor. So there are blue green ones. There are kind of yellow golds in here. There are multicolor inlays in metallic on these. And I've got 2 of these strands. So it's really cool when you, I don't know if you can see it here as easily, but like there's a kind of purple one and a green and a yellow. So all different kind of metallics. We've sold one of the 54s so far already. Thank you, thank you. And the last Star of Ishtar one, FTS 55. I've got two of these. They're $10 each before your discount. Andrew says, I love the gold mustard color, right? Aren't they fabulous? I really think they're cool. This is one of the few that we got that is it's shiny. It's not a matte Ishtar coating. These are a glossy Star of Ishtar bead in this same kind of a darker mustard color. And these have a gold metallic on them. So those are kind of unique in that they're they're not the matte bead. And we've sold one of those. Thank you so much. All right. Somebody else asked, what did somebody else say here? Pink tulips. I don't really have pink tulips. But I do have some tulips, and if you all want to see the tulips, I will show you that. I am running out of room here though, so I don't have bags left. Let me see if I can find bags. Let's see here. My bag box is empty. Let's see if I got any bags laying around. Let me put the Buddha heads away. Let's see here. Boy, I'm out of room on my desk. All right, we've sold one of the 55s as well. Thank you, thank you. Bags. Hope that has something in it. Okay. Let's just push these to the side, I think. That's what we're going to do. Or line them up here like this so they take up less space. And somebody wanted to see some tulips, so we'll look at the tulips and then I think that'll finish off the night. We'll see if we get to 60 on the tulips. FTS 56. These are $7 each. I've got 3 strands of these available. These are these large tulip beads. And these are kind of a lavender color with a gold inlay. And they are $7 each. 3 strands of those available. And then FTS 57. These are $6 each. 2 of them available. These are a kind of frosted, a unique frosted glass with a gold inlay in these tulips. Really pretty look on those. So there's the frosted tulip. FTS 57. Vicky says, I like that tulip shape. Isn't it cool? I've got one of this one, FTS 58. Is this green with the copper? Kimberly says, from the side they give the plant from the little shop before. I was thinking that too. Feed me, Seymour, right? Is that right? Is that the right one? They're almost like lips, right? They're going to eat you. I love this green FTS 58, $6. FTS 59. $6. I've got 3 of these. I'm running out of room. And I'm totally out of bags. Let's move these up out of the screen. Any way you want to see them. I just have to keep them straight for myself. FTS 59 are these, the transparent clear with the copper. We've sold one of the 56s. Thank you so much. Vicky says, I didn't see that. Cool. And we're not getting to 60, so let's see here. FTS 60. How about, I've only got this one. Let's do this one of this one. This is $10. Only one left. FTS 60 is this really pretty bicone in this kind of metallic but transparent purple. It's almost like that mercury glass finish. It's a really pretty strand. We've sold out on all of them, but the last one, 7.5 by 10 millimeters, FTS 60, $10, one of those. And that, my friends, we'll call that the night tonight. That's good. We got a pack. Or I would keep going because we've got more of these bicones and they're really, really pretty. But maybe we'll do more of those. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a special on Monday. We'll see, since it's going to be Labor Day. I don't know what we're going to get up to Monday. But that's the show for tonight. So thank you all for tuning in. Remember, you will get 20% off all these prices you're seeing once I do the invoicing. We appreciate all of your business and all of your support so much. We just sold 58 as well. Thank you so much. Kimberly says, we made it to 60. We can wait till next week for the bicones. Sounds good. That's kind of a preview right there, right? One of those, FTS 60. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have an amazing evening. Have a great Labor Day weekend. If you're doing anything special, please stay safe. Please have fun. And we might be here Monday. We might take Monday off. I don't know. We're going to have to see. We haven't discussed it yet. So there you go. We're flying by the seat of our pants. So thank you all for hanging out with us this week. And we will see you back here on Monday or Tuesday. All right. Stay tuned. Have a great one, everyone. Bye now.